No one expected that an arrival in a European city could shake the global conversation in a matter of hours. However, that's exactly what happened when Kim Seokjin, who is affectionately known as Jin from BTS, set foot in Amsterdam for the first time after a long hiatus from international activities. Why is one step of a genie on the streets of Amsterdam capable of making millions of people on different continents turn on their phones, upload thousands of uploads, and provoke uncontrollable emotional outbursts? Jin's arrival in Amsterdam is not just a personal trip or an ordinary work agenda. Behind this moment lies a much larger context. It is part of a global narrative about how Asian pop figures, especially K-pop, have transcended cultural, linguistic, and geographical boundaries. At Schiphol Airport, Jeannie's appearance sparked a spontaneous crowd, even before local media had time to report her presence. Sources on the ground said that some fans knew the location of his arrival only from vague clues on social media, and they were willing to wait for hours for a glimpse. The visual of the genie on that day seemed simple: a casual jacket, a black mask, and a hat that slightly covered the face. However, that simplicity actually strengthened his aura. The phone's camera from different angles captured his every move, forming a digital mosaic that quickly spread on platforms like X, Twitter, and Instagram. The Jin in Amsterdam hashtag became trending in less than 2 hours, not only in the Netherlands, but also in South Korea, the United States, Brazil. This phenomenon reaffirms a fact that pop culture researchers have observed. The attractiveness of global celebrities no longer depends on grandiose stages, but also on the intimacy of everyday moments open to the public. For many fans, this is Jin's most anticipated public appearance after a relatively quiet period in her career. A number of music industry analysts rate this moment as a soft comeback, a move that strategically reestablishes an emotional connection with a global audience without the need for an album launch or a big concert. His presence in Amsterdam has also sparked speculation about his involvement in international projects, given that the city often hosts art events, music, and global campaigns. The streets of Amsterdam on that day became an unofficial stage. Some tourists who happened to be on site did not even recognize who they were looking at, but felt something special in the crowd of fans. For those who know, this moment is a clear proof of how the physical presence of an artist is able to build an ecosystem of cross-cultural social interaction in an instant. Fans from different countries exchanged information, uploaded videos, and translated snippets of conversations to make sure everyone understood the atmosphere at the scene. Behind all the euphoria, Jin's presence in Amsterdam is also the subject of discussion among academics and media observers. They highlight that these events reflect the phenomenon of real-time fandom, where digital connectedness transforms every public appearance into a shared experience on a global scale. Amsterdam, with its reputation as a cosmopolitan city and international center for the arts, provides the perfect setting for this narrative. Interestingly, although no official agenda was announced, Jin was seen visiting several iconic points of the city, including the historic canal area and a small cafe that later became the object of fans' pilgrimage. Each location he stops by instantly turns into an impromptu meeting center for fans who want to feel the same atmosphere. This phenomenon demonstrates the symbolic power of physical presence in the digital age, where even footsteps can trigger spontaneous tourist flows. Undeniably, Jin's first day in Amsterdam set a new precedent for interactions between K-pop artists and the global community. Without major promotions or media campaigns, with just one appearance in the public sphere, it manages to activate an emotional network that reaches millions of people in different parts of the world. This is the form of the power of modern pop culture. It is not only a performance on stage, but also an intertwined story of human interaction, perpetuated and shared indefinitely. As night falls in Amsterdam and the skies begin to fill with city lights, Genie-related hashtags still hang at the top of global trends. For fans, this is not just travel documentation. It is a collective event that will be remembered, analyzed, and talked about for a long time. And for the world, this moment once again proved that pop culture is not just a matter of entertainment. It is a universal language capable of uniting people, even in the crowd of a foreign city. In a matter of hours, a genie's move in Amsterdam changed the flow of global news. Was the moment captured real, or was it a media fabrication? The arrival of Jin, a public figure who is often a magnet for international attention, sparked a wave of uploads on TikTok, reaction videos on YouTube, long threads on Twitter, and hundreds of posts on other platforms. However, didn't the surge also raise fundamental questions about the truth and motives behind each upload? Are we witnessing authentic events? Or are we being confronted with narratives designed to attract attention? To whom and for what? The phenomenon of the first day of a celebrity in a foreign city does evoke collective emotions. However, are we not obliged to ask further before accepting the mass narrative? Who was the first source to claim the location and time? And were those claims fueled by the romanticization of fan culture or by interested parties? These kinds of questions aren't conspiracy theories. They're critical tools for sorting information in the age of algorithms. Any short video that appears authentic could have been cropped, laced with misleading text, or resynced to fit a specific narrative. Don't you think? So before spreading it, ask, is there raw footage who is recording, and are there independent witnesses willing to be questioned? If the answers are weak or vague, vigilance should be increased. How do we assess the role of fans themselves in corroborating the story? Isn't it sometimes the fan base, with good intentions or not, becomes an amplifier that magnifies small events into a tsunami of global attention? That virality represents facts on the ground, or a collective product of longing, speculation, and competition for the first moment. Skepticism here protects the intellect, not absolute distrust. There is also an economic and media dimension. Are there any financial or reputational gains that certain parties are taking from this explosion of attention? This question may be provocative, but it is important. In an era of attention economy, attention is the currency. Who sows, who reaps. Suspecting commercial motives is not accusing without evidence, but rather invites the reader to weigh the context. The practice of simple verification is worth spreading. Compare upload times. Search for videos in a variety of different locations. Use reverse image search on key frames. Check related official accounts. And wait for clarification from credible sources. Why is this step important? Because emotions, excitement, longing, pride often overpower rationality when circulating information. A concrete addition. Check the video metadata. Does the upload time match the claimed chronology? Did any local journalists or independent outlets confirm the incident on the ground? What is the role of algorithms in accelerating dissemination? Are we victims of an information bubble that confirms what we want to see? Who will benefit the most if this story continues to circulate without verification? These kinds of questions force us to examine the evidence, examine motives, and measure the social impact of each post. Critical thinking means questioning a narrative that is good for consumption. Does this news split attention from other, more substantive issues? Are there elements that seem too perfect for coincidence? Why was a specific location chosen? Who benefits if the public believes without verification? These questions are not mere provocations. They are journalistic instruments that the modern reader must have. To the fans who celebrate this moment. It's okay to feel happy, but does that joy have to make us blind to the possibility of manipulation? To the doubting reader, is doubt every time considered cynicism or a form of informational maturity? This is where collective responsibility comes in, filtering excitement with reason, weighing evidence before spreading claims. Finally, test yourself. Do you really believe this event was real, Or was it a fabrication that attracted media attention? Can you point to the most compelling evidence? Is the evidence from an independent source, or just an account that benefits from virality? Answering isn't just an opinion, it's a media literacy exercise IT is worth repeating. The initial information we have summarized comes from various media sources, including TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, as well as other platforms. However, the veracity of these claims still needs to be verified. Therefore, we invite the audience to think critically and not immediately believe every news. Verification is not an abuse of joy. It is a shared responsibility that the collective narrative formed reflects facts, not imagination. Write your opinion. What is the most convincing evidence for you? And what are the main doubts that alert you? Do you see patterns indicating engineering or solid, authentic evidence? Let's have a calm, critical, and responsible discussion. Skepticism is not hostility. Thank you.